So we explored integers, numeric, and text or string data. Now let us take a look at the logical values, right? So let me say create a new variable t and assign it the value true, and I'll create a variable f and assign it this value false. Now here true and false are logical values. One thing you can observe is that I have not enclosed them in single or double quotes. Even though it is a text here, I have not enclosed it in single or double quotes. So whenever you're creating logical values, you use true or false, but do not enclose them in single or double quotes, and don't just use the first letter. In some places you might observe just a capital T being used for true and capital F being used for false. Please don't do that. That's not a good practice. Use the complete word true and false. Right, so let us run this, and we'll also print out their values. Right, for example, T here is true, and if you compare this with the character variable that we created here, my name, you can see that true is not enclosed in quotes, whereas here jovial is actually enclosed in quotes, and that is one way to differentiate between a logical variable and a character variable. Now let us use the class function and test the data type. Right, so here you can see it is logical. Right, so far we have come across 4 different data types, right? One is numeric, the other one was integer, then you have character, and finally logical. Right, so these two other data types that we have here, categorical data and date and time, we'll deal with them in a separate course, right? So we have one complete course where we'll see how to create and handle categorical data, and similarly for date and time we have a course in which we'll see how we can create date and time variables and how we can manipulate date and time as well. All right, now so here we have created these variables, right? So we created x, y, which is an integer. My name here is a character variable, and t and f are logical values. Now suppose you have a variable and you want to test if it is of data type numeric. So instead of using class, you can just use this function is dot numeric. Right, so let us test if x is numeric. Yes, true. Right, so is dot data type functions will always return logical values, right? Either true or false. Now if we test if x is of data type character, then you should see false, right? So you can use the is dot followed by the data type to test if a particular variable is of a particular data type. So for example, if you want to test if something is logical, then you use is dot logical and t, right? And if you want to see if something is dot integer, then we'll use y, right? So we created these 4 data types, and then we also used class to test their data type. But when we want to specifically test for a particular data type, then we can use the is dot function, but in the place of the data type you will specify these values, right? So for numeric you will test is dot numeric, for character is dot character, for logical is dot logical, and for integer is dot integer.